So card number 5 is the Vintage Christmas A5 top folding card. We have a nice little panel on the inside. Beautiful card, love the image, and we've added a little bit of bling, a little bit of glitter. So let's go ahead and get started on it. These are the sheets that I've printed out for project number 5. So as you can see, you have your main mat, you have your background paper, you have some decoupage elements. Again, a really good choice of different sentiments to punch out. Again, we're going to be using that decorative label punch from Stampin' Up. You have a little insert panel for the inside of the card, and again we're going to be using the 3/8 circle punch to punch out some of these little decorative metal effect or faux buttons. So again, I'm going to go ahead and cut everything out, and then I'll be right back. All my pieces are now cut out and ready to go. So for this one, I've looked at the backing paper and I've thought to myself, what colour backing paper or what colour card base would go well with the colours that are in there. Now I looked at red, I looked at a green one, but eventually I decided on a dark brown one because I think the dark brown tones go really well with the vintage feel for this one. So that's what I've gone ahead and done. I've created an A5 card blank out of an A4 sheet of textured cardstock. I don't know if you can see the texture on that. It's like a linen weave. So just push those to one side for a second. Like I said, I've gone through and cut everything out. I'm going to go for this sentiment, which is the Merry Christmas sentiment, just a standard one. And like I said, I'm going to punch these bits out in a little while. So I'm going to put all the other pieces to one side and go ahead and start sticking everything down onto our card base. So it depends on which way around you want to do that. Now, if you want to, you can go in with your distressing and distress the edges even further, make it even more vintage feel if you want to, but I'm just going to do this as is. And again, you could scruff the edges up, make them all nice and frayed and really vintage looking if you want to, but I'm just going to do this as is from the kit. So I'm going to just turn that over, and with a little bit of wet glue this time, make sure it's going to come out. There we go. I'm just going to put a little bit of wet glue on the back because this does give me a little bit of wiggle room so I can position it perfectly onto the base. And then pop that down so we have an equal border all the way around the card. And then just gently give that a little bit of a push down. Minor adjustments, like so. And then before we forget, I'm just going to open that up and take my little insert panel. And again, a little bit of glue, not too much. And stick that down. I'm going to do that with the little faux metal buttons or rivets if you like, and just put that in the centre of the card. Just make sure that I have got that straight. I'm just going to line that up on my craft mat. That's better. Bit of a rub, and then we can forget about the inside of the card. Okay. So we have the front, the backing paper panel put down, and again, if you wanted to, you could have matted that onto maybe some gold card first, a bit of mirror card, just to give it a bit of lift and a bit of bling, but I quite like the dark background. So this is our main panel. As you can see, there's quite a lot going on there already. Now, I've decided that I want to raise that up. So we've got, starting with our dimensions. So I've already gone ahead and put quite a few foam pads on there. Now, if you wanted to, you could grab yourself a sheet of fun foam and stick that to the back, so you've got a nice big area of dimension. It's only a couple of millimeters thick, but you could do that too if you wanted to make sure that it wasn't even, raised up evenly all the way across. But I've put plenty of foam pads on this, and they are quite large, so it will hold quite nicely. Okay, and then we'll just position that, just start to grab, but we've got a little bit of time. Yeah, I think that's just about in the middle. Just give that a little bit of a push down, and you can see you've already started to get a little bit of dimension on that card. So our 2 decoupage layers, again, I've already gone ahead and put foam pads on the backs of those, and I'm just going to take the backs off those. Now I've gone round my decoupage layers already just to hide those areas where I might not have cut out perfect. I've already gone through with I've gone round the edges with a black Versamark, not black Versamark, Memento black dual tip marker. So I've already gone round the edges of that just to hide any unsightly edges, which you've seen me do before. But if you haven't, I will do it on the next layer, just so if there's anybody coming to this magazine brand new, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the Memento dual tip marker. It's got a nice brush tip on one end, and all I've done is just gone over the edges all the way around, because when I've cut out I may have missed just a little bit, the odd little white gap, and that does disguise them. Now if I'm right-handed and I use the pen in my right hand, so I make sure that the printed image is facing away from me, so if I slip it goes down the back. Now as you can see, I have slipped, but that will be forever hidden behind. So if you're right-handed, hold it so that the image, the printed image, is facing away to the left. If you're left-handed, you do it that way, so that if you slip it goes down the back. Pop that back away, and then just take those foam pads off. The clock sounds very loud today. And I'm just going to line that layer up with the feet and just gently pop that down. And there we've got some nice dimension. She actually looks like she's popping off the page now, doesn't she? Okay, so that's the majority of the card put together. We just have to add on now our sentiment. So I'm going to grab my punch. And this is the decorative label punch from Stampin' Up. And just position that inside. And pop that out. And again, if you've not quite got it right, you can just go around the edges, and that will hide any raw edges and just give it just that little bit more of a finish. Doesn't take too long, but just adds a bit more of a professional finish to your card. And again, with the other layers, if you wanted to, you could have gone round in a darker blue. The Tim Holtz Distress markers are really good for that, because you've got a variety of colours that you can do that. And with it being water based, it won't pull into your card, your printed card. So, okay. A couple of foam pads on the back. And we're just about done. It didn't take long at all, did it? And then this one you can put anywhere. I'm going to put it there, right in the centre. Just pop that down, and then we're going to look for, I think I'm going to use the same style as the one that's printed on the insert panel, which are like the, let me see if you can raise that up, like rivets, like pop rivets on a pair of jeans, but not quite. Okay, so a pair of scissors. I'll just trim a little bit of that off so it makes popping these out a little bit easier. So I'm just going to line that up. This is the X-Cut 3/8 circle punch. Very, very inexpensive and can be picked up wherever Paper Mania and Do Crafts products are sold. But any 3/8 circle punch will do. I know there's a few other manufacturers that make them, not just X-Cut. And there's our 3 little faux rivets. And I'm just going to pop these on with little foam pads. I grab my pokey tool, makes taking the foam pads off easier, and I'm just going to place 3 in a row going up the side of the card. Outer 2 first, and then the middle one, so you can really make sure you get it lined up. And we'll just pop the tops off, and we don't want to come off. And with my pickup tool, I'll just turn those over. And then we just pop them straight down onto our foam pads. Okay, and then that is the card complete. So all we have to do now is just to add a few little minor embellishments. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, or my clear Wink of Stella brush pen, and I'm going to add some glitter detail just to this kind of wreath over in the corner onto the sprigs of pine that are behind there. And you can also add it to the ribbon strips behind the poinsettia. There's a little heart in the top right hand corner, and then I'm also going to add some shimmer just to the base of her fur gown, or the fur on the bottom of her gown, and down the edges there, making sure I get it on that part too, and just round the base, and then on her cuff. Now I'm turning the card round, so I'm making sure I'm not smudging it, and then just around the outside of her fur on her hood. Like so. And that, if you're not happy with the amount of glitter that's gone on, you can always go back and add more. It will stand it, and that adds a nice bit of shimmer onto the card. And then if you wanted to, where's the lid gone? There it is. You can then get your stickles and just add some little points around the wreath, which I'm going to do just here and there, just on the green parts of the wreath. I'm not doing it on the red. Just to add a little bit of sparkle and bling into there too. And I might just add a little bit to the centre of that poinsettia up in the top right hand corner. And that's it. Card is finished. I'm happy with that. I don't know whether the camera can pick up that sparkle on her hood. I'm hoping so. But there you go. That's card number 5, the Vintage Christmas, and again, you can send this one to any age. I know young people like the vintage look, and obviously older people will appreciate it too.